Welcome to the Billtendo Show. I'm Bill, and my co-host Tendo is right there. What's
Hi.
up, Mike?
Hello, I'm Tendo.
Short intro.
Yeah. Tell us who we're brought to by.
We're brought to you by Billtendo.com, obviously. Uh, if you need games, you need consoles, you need emulators, it's the place to be. Just launched a new emulator today. It's going quite well. It's called the Billtendo X Retro Lizard. Use the code Quest64. Get you a discount. It's amazing emulator. It's fantastic. Go check out my YouTube. Uh, there's live gameplay footage of it, of people asking for the harder to emulate games in real time, and me obliging. I can
Yeah,
say obliging because I'm from the South originally.
you can. It was mostly me requesting things without Billy knowing it was me under an alias account uh,
Yeah,
to
that was the
test him
best.
because I don't trust him. But it was just a bunch of
It's
Saturn and
all.
Dreamcast and yada 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 yada, and I ran it pretty well. So I was really excited for Billy and his new mini PC build thing. It was cool to see. Ran pretty smooth. Uh, Happy Mike.
Oh,
What
that's
else
what
you
they
got?
say.
What else you got going on, Billy? Munching on some
I
candy
don't know.
there? Where'd you get that from?
Lots of candy. I went to the store. I went to Walmart. I went to Walmart on November 1st, not realizing it was the day after Halloween. Bought a bunch of candy. Uh, Bought a couple pounds of candy at 50% off. Couldn't pass it up.
Makes sense.
So, what'd you do today, Mike?
Not a whole lot, but I was on a charity stream that's probably more important than the rest of the stuff I do. So we can talk about that.
Okay, let's talk about
Okay.
that.
Okay. Yeah, it's a fun story. Billy likes this story because I told it to him earlier and he thinks it's fun. So, um,
Just so people know, our attitude has shifted slightly because we had several failed recording attempts while Mike's running around his house from room to room.
yeah, but I'm on my fourth
So,
different personal computer at this point. Trying to figure out what's going on in our house. But so now Billy's lost all gusto for this story. I'm gonna make him hear it anyway. And
okay, I'm with you, Mike. I'm with you. Let's just do it.
all right. So I live in Wisconsin, and there's a really good retro community in Wisconsin. I know we don't have a lot of things here, like cities or culture or whatever, but we have video games. So that's a cool thing we have. And there's a game store in De Pere called Game Trade, and it's run by Greg. I won't use his whole name just in case. Um, and there's another video game store in Appleton near me, run by Zach, and that's Press Start. And all these guys used to be GameStop managers in the area when GameStop was the top dog and there was nothing else. I worked at Hollywood, so I didn't work with them, but they all work together. And a lot of the people that work at their stores are also from GameStop or ran GameStops or are still in the community and used to be GameStop managers because GameStop doesn't keep any good employees, so they're all gone. Um, but when Greg was a GameStop manager about 15 years ago, he had an assistant manager, Jared K, who is now very popular as Pro Jared. And um, so Greg thought it would be fun for his stream today. Greg is very involved in charity, and this is his Extra Life uh, daily charity. He does an all-day charity for the Extra Life Foundation today, which is part of the Children's Miracle Network and Children's Hospitals of Wisconsin. He raises money, so he streams for 24 hours. He started at
That's
7
awesome.
o'clock our time this morning, and yeah, it is awesome. It is awesome. And he's going
I'm
till
with
7
it.
o'clock tomorrow. So he was already open the suggestion for the because he was on like 12 hours by the time I got, well, not quite 12 hours, but he was on quite a while by the time I got there. And he said, hey, why don't you just pop in and I'll play Quest for the first time ever. We'll get Jared to come in and you can talk to me about Quest and we'll talk about all the stuff you like to talk about. So we did that for an hour and it was a good time. Jared sat in the chat and conversed with people while I talked to Greg while he played Quest for the first time, and Jared and I got to do a little back and forth, and we honestly get along now. I know I like to rip on him, but it specifically is one video that I like to rip on. I know I've said in other
Right.
episodes of Billy's show that he does other stuff now. He's got good content. He's left that part of him back in 2015 or wherever that stayed, and some other people like RGT and Angry Video Game Nerd are still shooting videos of them blowing themselves through walls because they're angry about soda cans in Spider-Man 2 or whatever. But um,
Right.
some of the content creators are doing the right thing now, and he's one of them. So it was nice to chat with one of the legends of the content creator area, especially since he's from my state and we have history, and we never crossed paths before this. I just knew of him and where he came from and yada yada yada. But it was just a fun walk through history today to have us all in one spot.
Yeah, but more importantly, he knows who you are.
Well, he does. He doesn't know me by name. He just
Yeah,
knows me
yeah.
as Quest Guy.
Yeah,
Because we weren't
but
we were
check
part of
this
the
out.
same friend group or something.
Let me do an equation for you, okay? I'm very, very good friends with a woman, and her sister slash roommate is a famous actress. Now, I've been friends with this woman for like 5 years, and we talk all the time. And we're very good friends. And she's done a lot of hair and makeup on movies, right? But she's done a little modeling, but she's not the actress. Her sister is. Now, you and I know who her sister is.
Mm-hmm.
She's famous to us.
Yep.
But my friend, all of the celebrities know who she is. So she's famous to famous people like you are. You're famous to famous people, dude. They know
But
who you are.
it's really pocketed though. Like I'm not famous to like Hollywood, dude. Like that's a different thing.
No, I'm talking about within our industry.
Yeah. I don't think I'm famous. I'm notable. I think that people see the tag and they're like, "Oh, I know that guy." But they don't know me. That's different.
They know who you are. They know who you are. So, you know what? Now that we're at the people know who you are thing, I want to bring up that I pulled up your social blade the other day.
Yeah.
And you on average tweet 75 times a day.
Yes. I've actually
But
since you said
okay,
that, I made sure to tweet more the last 3 days since you've said that.
so it's not technically 75 tweets because it also counts responses, probably maybe likes, and I don't know if it counts likes or not.
Doesn't count
But
likes, but it does count quote retweets. So if I retweet something but I add something to it, that counts as a tweet as well. That's an individual tweet for me.
Right. But 75 a day consistently is a lot. And I just want you to know that we're a few days shy of a year, but I figured it out on average for a year. So it's actually more than 75. Not by much, but by a little bit. It's a lot.
I do tweet a lot. So if you follow me on Twitter, I'm sorry. I usually have to limit myself to one tweet an hour. Like I'll have the next 2 or 3 lined up in my head. And I don't like to like pop them in. Like I don't like to like schedule tweets because that seems, I don't know. I don't know what that seems like to me. Like not genuine. I like to, because what if something comes up? Then I want to be there
Well, then
for
you change it.
yeah. So then I don't want to go in and like reschedule things for later. I roll. It's like I said, it's like I tweet and meme like freeform jazz. Like stuff just comes and I gotta get it all in there. I gotta get it out of me and into the internet as fast as possible.
So with my YouTube, I make videos. I schedule them. I have several scheduled right now that are completed. But if something comes up, something that's newsworthy that I feel like I need to put out, then I just push the scheduled release time of one of those videos back. You know?
What if I don't I have like Okay,
But you don't
so
want to do that.
well, no, because like the way my mind works, so I always have to like do a quest thing between doing regular N64 things because I also like to post all sorts of just regular N64 stuff. And if I do too many of those in a row, then it doesn't feel like quest anymore. So I have to do a quest thing. So if I start scheduling things, it's gonna mess with like my back and forth of what I do, like system, picture tweet, video tweet, meme tweet, N64 tweet, quest tweet. Like I have a flow, and it's worked for me, and I don't want to
Uh,
screw that up. And if I start scheduling, then I get off of the flow chart. Like that's like it's all in my head, Billy. Everything I do is it's all up here and it all works for the most part, and I can't change what I do. So I don't know how else to explain that, but I can't schedule
yeah,
things.
no, I get it. I get it. You got to have that free flow because what I do with YouTube is different than what you do with Twitter. My stuff is able to be made and scheduled in a lot of instances, and yours is more of off the top of your head. I really want to say that, but I don't want to say that right this second because I just said something else, you know? Let that
Yeah,
marinate a little bit. I'll
yeah,
pop
and
this
then,
out in a few minutes.
yeah, and then all of a sudden somebody will say something about me. Like one of my friends, Cinco Play Rob Burry, that was on before. I had something all lined up for yesterday, and then all of a sudden he tweets out this masterpiece. Um, that's just a I don't know. It was like a like a picture of Little Caesars mixed with Pepsi mixed with Quest 64 or something. He's like, "Do you ever think that maybe Quest guys on it was like um Twitter, we're giving you free reign to post unlimited information, something or another, and you can do whatever you want with this." And then it's like Quest 64 guy, and it's just Little Caesars, Pepsi, Quest 64 spaghetti or something like that. So then I had to respond to that, like, and then that derails like
Right.
3 hours of my brain. Like I can't go back to where I was before that. So there's no going back.
Yeah. I'm telling you, Mike, I'm going to do a YouTube video on you without revealing your name, and it's going to be called The Mystery of the Quest Guy, and do it on do a story about your Twitter.
That might be
And
fun. I don't want to listen to it though, because I don't want to know what you think about me.
huh? You already know what I think about you because um I told you the other day that I was some random comment section on YouTube, and somebody commented that Quest guy is fucking weird, man. That Quest 64 official guy is fucking weird, man. And I was like, I've never been prouder to call you my friend than to come across that in a random comment section.
Yeah, I
And
had a
I'm
few
like,
people on when RGT talked about me on one of his videos. Somebody sent me some screens of people talking about me in the comments, like, "Oh, Quest Guy's not going to be happy about this." Another one was like, "No, Quest Guy is probably plenty happy about this," and then they couldn't agree on whether I would like it or not. And I'm like, I'm glad that
right.
nobody's got me nailed down. I just be weird. That's fine.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And that's why I think it's awesome. That's my opinion of the whole Quest guy thing is that it's fucking awesome because a lot of people are like nobody has you pegged. Like nobody knows like you're just a normal fucking dude just being weird on the internet.
Yeah, and then when I do a normal thing, so the other day was my wife's birthday. Last weekend was my wife's birthday, and I just posted just a really innocent just picture of her sitting across me at the table. And I said, "Hey, I don't like normally post, but it's my wife's birthday." And without her, I wouldn't. And it was just completely normal, like a post you'd see from your grandma, and it
Right.
and it just blew the doors off of Twitter. Like it was easily the most
Yeah.
popular post of the day, and then it was probably the most popular post of 3 or 4 days. So I let her, and then I told everybody, I'm like, "Hey, you guys can keep saying nice things. Sorry, I won't be doing a lot of normie posting." I'll go back to what I usually do, but this was important to me. And then I was like, I'm gonna let my wife see all the messages. She can read all the happy birthdays. So say whatever you want. This Quest account wouldn't be here without her. She supports me, and has supported me for years, even when I didn't want to do internet things to keep me going towards my goals. And so it was really honest stuff. And that's just as weird as the normal stuff I do, because it comes off as, well, didn't see that coming, or you know what I mean? So I can be weird without being weird too.
Mike, I was just thinking about it. You're a like, the person that lives next door to you is the person that they interview on the news that lives next door to a serial killer. Like, if your neighbor found out you were the Quest guy, they'd be like, he was just such a quiet guy. He was so friendly. I never would have guessed it.
If I didn't go over there and bang on his windows because we thought we heard gunshots, I wouldn't even know he lived there. Yeah. But yeah, so let's we like full circle here, and we like transition. How we like to freeform things, and Billy was talking about his account, and he's got scheduled things, and he's got content he does. And this would have
Yeah,
been 2 days ago now. Part of something that derailed one of my days is a big DKoldies thing that bothered me, and it
man.
bothered me enough where I made a huge post about it, and then I tagged them like several thousand times because Billy likes to talk about how many times I tweet. Um, so every time somebody responded. Anyway, so let's backtrack. About 7 days ago, DKoldies posted on their Facebook account, their DKoldies Facebook .com Facebook account, this. They said, at DKoldies, we hate it when people make others feel bad about the console they choose to play on. Uh, Take Xbox versus PlayStation for the example. They're both great consoles, amazing games. You choose to play, or how you choose to play, is up to you. Everyone is a gamer, no matter which console holds your heart. You should be having nothing but fun while playing, not being made to feel bad about which console you are playing on. Has anyone ever made you feel bad for playing on a console? Aw, super cute.
Oh, but yeah, so sweet and heartfelt. I'm sure they mean it.
Yes, they absolutely mean it. Uh, and you can tell because 6 days later, uh, they tweet and post this. Watch out this Christmas because fake retro consoles and illegal emulators are popping up, even on legitimate websites. Don't be fooled. Nothing beats the authentic experience we're all about at DKoldies. Remember the hum of a real console or the feel of an actual game cartridge? That's what makes gaming special. One of our team members was reminiscing about the first time he played Wii with his grandma. She loved bowling. It's memories like those that make video games so special. What was your best, and this is in caps, authentic memory with a, also in caps, real deal video game? Let's stick together and celebrate true, also in caps, gaming this holiday season. So, Billy, what does that second message sound like they're saying to you?
Okay, so this needs to, there's actually like a shit ton to unpack there. But you can, according to them, are you shitting me right now? You? Sorry, Mike. My cat broke in. She's in here. Anyway, uh, she's she's lurking. Um. Anyway, uh, so they are gatekeeping your experiences, your gaming memories and experiences, because they're saying if you don't buy authentic, which they only sell authentic, and they say that all the time, we only sell authentic uh, items. If you don't buy authentic items from DK Oldies, you're not having legitimate, authentic memories or experiences of games. Like I said, there's a lot to unpack here. So, Let's hit a couple PowerPoints. Number one, DKoldies sells shit that's not authentic. We have numerous people who's received inauthentic items or even downright bootlegs from DKoldies. It's happened, and you know what? In DKoldies' defense, if someone gets a bootleg cartridge, they have swapped it out every single time I've ever heard of, or refunded. So give them credit for that, but they have sent out bogus shit.
Yep.
Um. Also, before I don't want to get side railed by this, but I think they stole my grandmother's story. I told you that. Fuck them. Fuck them.
Other people have
But
grandmothers, Billy, and a lot of grandmothers play Wii bowling. They're all in nursing homes. So
I'm blaming DKoldies for trying to capitalize on my grandmother's story. Anyway, so let's point out that you found several things on their website that disprove everything in that statement. Number one, retro consoles. What did they call them? Fake retro consoles or
yeah, well, an illegal emulation, illegal emulators.
no? Yeah, but what was the other one? They said fake retro consoles, right?
Yes, because fake retro consoles and illegal emulators keep popping up. So
Right,
not
right.
just before
So
you get into fake, mind you, emulation is not illegal. There is no such thing as an illegal
emulation
emulation
is
program. That doesn't exist.
correct. Correct, because by U.S. copyright laws, you are allowed to back up any data that you purchase. Emulation software, by its nature, is legal because it allows the backing up of purchased data. So if you own a game, you are allowed to legally own that emulation. So, but they say fake retro consoles, but they sell fake retro consoles on their website. They sell, what is it, the Retron 3?
Yeah, they sell the Retron 3, which I mean is that's not fake. It's a real console. It's not like trying to be
Yeah,
something else, but it's definitely
well,
emulation.
every Famicom is technically a fake console, but it's real because you can hold it and use it.
That's true, but it's not trying to represent something else, I guess, is the way they're putting it. The Retron is very clear what it is. I'm giving them that single pass, but
I'm not.
it's not
It's a clone console.
correct. It's not a first
literally
party
a clone.
console, and it uses
Correct.
emulation. It uses hardware and software emulation. It's an emulator.
Correct.
It's
It is an emulator because you can load your game cheats onto it.
and it emulates sound like I mean it's it's emulator as an emulator gets. Like it's just
Yes.
like it doesn't get any different than that or any more emulatory than that. Like that. So anyway, um. So I immediately sent that to Billy and said I'm just gonna go blow him up all over the place, and I'm like, you can go do the same on YouTube because that's already Billy's shtick. Billy is very
Yeah.
pro gamer play and uh, against DKoldies, which is constantly gatekeeping gaming, and that's what I said on Twitter. I just said, look at them demonizing emulation and gatekeeping people's gaming and their memories. And I said, authentic. Everybody in the comments, authentic memories only. No illegal memories, please, from emulation. And then we tore it up for about a couple hours and talked about the things we love. I mean, the big takeaway isn't like it's not like some 30 something just sitting around downloading every game. It's people in other countries. Like I have friends from the Netherlands and from like Iceland. It's hard to get Nintendo consoles there, especially in the 90s. And a lot of countries off the beaten path, South America, that's the way they played. You couldn't get first party consoles. You had to buy clone consoles to play things,
Correct.
or you weren't playing games. And emulation didn't just start this year when DKoldies is getting all upset about it. We were emulating back in the early 2000s, and that was how a lot of people played import. Famicom games,
Yep.
import SNES games, and not just in the States, but the other way, the PAL countries that didn't get the Japanese games or the NTSCU games. That's how you play each other's games. It was hard to import and it was expensive. So to think
It
that
was super expensive.
they're not looking more than 3 inches in front of their face and deciding, we only make money on physical games. That's the way we need to promote it. It's just they're completely out of touch with the community. And I honestly, in a nutshell, have no idea who they thought they were impressing with this post. I like, what was this gaining for them?
I don't know, but they used to have okay, they used to have like their stances are very wishy-washy and like why make a stance at all when you don't actually ever mean it? Like they're spineless stances, right?
Yeah.
For the longest time, DKoldies advertised like on their stuff, no Japanese imports, consoles, like on their wanted to buy. If you told them I have 50 PSPs from Japan, they would not buy a single one. Even though on the PSP, the only thing you have to do to make it American is change the menu to English, and it's done. It's the same machine, just a sticker on the back. It 100% the same. Now, DKoldies is making videos with Spice Orange GameCubes. They have them on their website. They have Japanese edition PSPs. They have all kinds of stuff from Japan. I saw them with a Super Famicom in a video the other day. Also, they had a SNES Junior, and they kept calling it the Super Nintendo Mini. So that was weirding me out. But their stances mean nothing because their stances are only affected on how they can make $1 that day.
Yeah.
And if they think making a stance on something is gonna either make them money or cost a competitor money, that's when they have a stance. Otherwise, they just try to be really vanilla.
Yeah. They did carry
And
it over a little bit today, so I haven't heard from, they didn't respond to any of our Twitter tags or anything, because that's, why would you? It was in their best interest. So I said they should just log off for a couple weeks and come back. And that's sort of what they did. They stayed off for 3 days, they came back, and they pretended like it didn't happen, and that's fine, because they don't get any traction on Twitter anyway, so it doesn't matter. But today on Facebook, again, they tripled down and said, digital downloads may be convenient, but they miss the mark on nostalgia. The feel of a game cartridge, the excitement of unwrapping a new game, and the visual joy of a gaming library on your shelf. These are experiences only physical media deliver. And that was their pop for today, because they're just really sticking it home that there's no way, if you don't buy their games, that you're getting an authentic experience. Right. Which they don't sell new games, so I don't know why they included the unwrapping of a new game, because you can't. When was the last time they sold any sealed games?
Timon and Pumbaa's Jungle games on PlayStation. Oh, they must sell those brand new.
Yeah. Jumping back, so when I was sending Billy these photos, I sent him the retro, and I said, well, look at this little thing they got there. And then I sent him another picture, Timon and Pumbaa's Jungle Games, which is a Super Nintendo game. And it's a fun Super Nintendo game. But then if you look
also a little... PC.
Yeah. And if you look a little further into their things, they had it for PlayStation 1 with a photo of it for PlayStation 1. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Right. Because I had that for Super Nintendo, and I don't at all remember there being a lot of carryover between Super Nintendo and PlayStation 1. I know there was a little, right, but not a ton. Definitely not little. No, so we looked up that game, and it turns out that it doesn't exist on PlayStation 1, even though they're selling it. It exists on one of the fandom wikis where people just make pretend covers of games. And DKoldies went on, either they Google searched a game that didn't exist, or somebody sent them, or they accepted the idea that this PlayStation game existed, and they put this made up cover of a game on their website, and they're selling it for $2.99. But of course, they don't have any because it doesn't
No,
exist.
because I tried to buy one because I
Yeah.
wanted to see. I've never given DKoldies my money. I'm super proud of that. But I really wanted to see what would happen if if I could buy a game that doesn't exist from them.
So I told Billy sometime this weekend I would dig through the entire N64 section and make sure there's no anomalies in there, because that'd be the thing that I would recognize the quickest.
Right.
Would be things in there, and I fully expect for them to have like mislabeled manuals and boxes for player's choice that don't belong, or things marked as complete that are missing inserts. I'm not looking for things like that, but blatant fake games on a
Right.
site that says they sell nothing fake is funny when they're going out of their way to attack people who play reproductions and emulations. So
Yeah. Well, we know they're shady as shit, and they don't know what's fake and what's not half the time anyway. You got a bunch of people running around for minimum wage just trying to package boxes. I don't blame those people for not being properly trained. You know? I blame Drew. Most of the time, I don't even blame Joey because he's just a mouthpiece.
he's working, dude. He was that's his
Yeah,
job. Like,
he's the clown shaped speaker that the guy in the drive-thru's talking through. You know,
yeah, yeah.
and Drew is the guy with the headphones with the microphone.
And it's sad because even as recently as this year, I would say March of this year, they had some fun social media people. I know I've defended them on a couple occasions,
Okay,
saying, "Hey, they've been nice to me on Twitter. They retweet a lot of my stuff, and they respond when I tweet on
so
their stuff." And those people are
okay,
clearly gone.
can I bring something up that by the way, you mentioned that, and then I'm like, okay, obviously, because they were reposting videos of some of their former social media people when they came back up to the surface not too long ago. And you
Yeah,
pointed that out, and you're like, this person uh, was in a lot of videos before they disappeared, and then like it looks like they just reposted a bunch of videos with that person in it, but that person is obviously not on the social media team anymore.
yeah,
Anyway,
yeah,
I didn't want to say anything because I don't know, I don't want this misconstrued as making a personal attack against someone. But the way they have things set up for DKoldies social media now is Joey, the grown up Chucky doll that we all know and love, and now he has a partner who is Hunter, the guy with a beard and long hair, who
yep.
is in a lot of videos with Joey. The thing is, it and I don't, like I said, I don't want to come off like, hey, I'm trying to attack this person because I'm not. But from my perspective, um, and I want to know if anybody else sees it because I definitely every time I see one of these videos, it's like I feel like it's driven down my throat once I noticed it. Um, Hunter is probably a nice guy. He's probably a fairly genuine guy, but when he's in these videos with Joey, it goes one of two ways. Number one, you can clearly tell that he has no idea what he's talking about when it comes to uh, the games or the console, and he's just kind of fudging his way through and saying things that if you don't know sound like they make sense, but if you do know, then you're like, he's not really saying anything. So you have that side of it, and then you have the other side, which is every other video he's in that he's not doing that, everything feels super scripted. Like, he'll respond to a question or ask Joey a question, and it feels like he read it off of a piece of paper 5 times before they pressed record on the camera. You know?
So, and I totally agree with you. Hunter is actually one of the social media people that is nice to me and has used his name on Twitter. He is not their Twitter person anymore. And I think that that's what they've done is transition some of their older people to more prominent roles, and they got rid of the fun people while they were doing that.
Uh huh.
Because it wasn't just him
So,
on Twitter, but he did sign a couple like messages to me, like not on Twitter, but a private message saying, "Hey, your account's really fun. Dash Hunter," and like, "Oh, thanks, man." but I
yeah.
mean, that's
Yeah, because
different.
you're a sucker for anybody that says anything kind about fucking Quest.
Yeah, and it was,
I
and,
like the
and to be
Quest
perfectly
account.
fair though,
Oh, thank you, sir.
it was being annoying. Like they would post something like, "Hey, what's your favorite PSP game?" And I'd post like 45 copies of Quest 64. So it wasn't like I was being helpful or
Right.
something. Yeah. Like, what's your favorite Super Nintendo game? And I just take the Quest 64 label and put it on top of a Super Nintendo game, or I'd post Brian's Journey being played on a Super Game Boy or something. I was never being that helpful, but I think they just recognized that I wasn't going away. So
Right.
now they've gone away, at least on Twitter.
Yeah. Well, let's keep working on it, man. I think it's better for the community if we can make that happen.
Yeah.
We can't make it happen, but maybe we can. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we can help. Dude, people like, oh, you hate on them so much. It's that it's not that I hate on them as much as I actually care about the community that we're a part of, and I see no redeeming qualities, and I see no reason why DKoldies should be accepted into a community that they only take from, that they don't give anything to. They're 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 pillaging a niche community for profit. So, I tell people all the time, don't shop at DKoldies. Go buy off of eBay. Go buy off of Macari. Go on Facebook Marketplace. Anytime I make a DKoldies video on YouTube, man, it would probably do me really well to put my website description, like address in the description below and talk about my website. But when I make a video critical of DKoldies, I don't do any of that because I feel like it's unethical to criticize someone for my own profit. So, one video on Stargate might have my website link in it, but if I'm criticizing DKoldies, that's what I'm doing. I'm not trying to sell you anything while I'm doing it, because I just want people to realize that they're terrible for the community. And I tell people, like, don't shop there. Go anywhere else. You don't have to buy from me, but buy anywhere else.
Yeah, man. Does that it? Do you feel
I
like
like
you've
it.
talked enough about DKoldies now? You get it all out of your system?
Um, probably. Probably.
All right.
All right, I'm good. Just,
Okay.
fuck DKoldies. All right, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm sure Hunter is a nice guy, but his videos don't feel good.
I mean, and it's important to know that, like, so they're a big. We'll do a little more DKoldies here.
Okay.
So they're a huge national chain, but there are other ones like that. I know I've talked about East Starland. I've become really good friends with them. But you can just, it's as simple as going on their website. Like compare like Joypad Lad or East Starland or any of these other video games, like even go back to JJ Games because they still have
I
some
love
games on there.
JJ Games.
It's not hard at all to find another video game website and compare prices and be like, wow, I can tell the difference. And if you don't, DK Oldies says we test and we do all this stuff meticulously that they've proven they haven't done. There's places that really do that. Like,
Yes.
East Starland straight out does repairs. Like you can send stuff in for repairs. If a company does repairs on the books for your stuff, I would imagine they probably repair their own stuff. I would imagine.
By the way, when DKoldies resurfaced, couple months ago, they started advertising doing repairs.
Yeah.
It's probably the only way the owner Drew sees paying people to actually refurbish consoles is if he's also making money off of repairs.
It's a
You know, to
possibility.
kind of cover that. I mean, I'm sure it's a business decision as far as covering existing costs. You know. Anyway, I had something else to say about them, but I forgot now. I don't know. Fuck
Oh
'em.
no. All right. So I
I
another thing that has come up because it was a roundabout like deep dig at my new buddy RGT85. So I don't know if you knew
That's your boy.
that is my boy. He's my new pro Jared because he made the video more recently and still hasn't
Right.
escaped the early years of not dumping on Quest where I am going to find it and make fun of you for doing it. But
Right.
I tweeted something out that was just a pretty harmless tweet. It was just a meme talking about how I would have fixed Sega and going back in time and um, telling Sega that it was Brian going back in time and it was telling Sega to not release two 32-bit systems at the exact same time in the exact same year. Just get rid of
Right.
32X and focus on Saturn and moving into 2D to 3D, which was going to be the next big thing. I have a soft spot for Sega, so it was just a big rambling thing over the top of a meme. But it was
Right.
subverted because uh my buddy Sean Long has wrote an entire book on the 32X. So I didn't want to like say, hey, the 32X sucks. And then have it seem like I was like dumping on him and his favorite system or whatever it is. But
But the
RGT back
32X did kind of suck.
it did. But so back when he was retro gaming tube 85, he wrote this big long book on, well, not big, but a nice complete thing on uh 32X. So in a way it was a subverted I wanted him to see it without me saying his name because he likes to say my name and I like to do things without saying it. I just want to do things
Right.
where he sees it. That's funnier to me. Funny is funny to me.
Right.
Like being angry in public
Yeah.
isn't funny to me. Being funny is funny to me. So and I had somebody point it out to me like, hey, you know that I'm like, yeah, I know. You don't have to tell me. I'm like, I'm trying to figure out what
Yeah.
super villain he is and what superhero I am. We talked in a stream
You're
about we
like,
were trying
yeah,
to figure
I
out
know
what
what I fucking did.
I could. Oh, so you like superheroes, Billy? Here, I'll let you take a shot at this too. We'll liven up the stream a little bit. We were trying to figure out what supervillain that RGT would be. It has to be a dude with money, but almost no personality and no redeeming love arc or anything like that. Because he also tweets all sorts of alpha male stuff like, "Hey guys, make sure to delete all your dating apps this time of year so you don't get entrapped between now and February when Valentine's
Oh, I
happens."
got you, bro.
Yeah.
This is a wrap. This is a wrap.
Okay, give it to me.
You ready?
Yeah.
Ozymandias.
I tell the people because I don't know who that is. I'm not a comic guy like you are.
Ozymandias is a retired superhero in the Watchmen comic series.
Okay.
He was a member of a superhero group, and superheroes were outlawed. He basically becomes this rich billionaire, and he is the world's biggest hero in a world without superheroes. Now, he becomes the world's hero as everybody thinks he's great, but he's not doing superhero things, right? He would be a hero in our world. Oh, he's so great. He's so great. But it turns out that the rampaging monsters on Earth and all of these nuclear things going on was all him because he wanted to wipe mankind out so they could start over and do things right. So it turns out the guy that everybody thought was a genius and the best thing to happen to the world was actually the villain. And the guy that just couldn't take it and could do anything he absolutely wanted and just ignored the other guy was Dr. Manhattan. So you would be Dr. Manhattan, the all powerful who decides to ignore by not saying his name, and he would be Ozymandias.
But see, Ozzy sounds like he's too smart. We were also trying to eliminate the like super intelligence from the. So here, let me tell you the ones we came up with. And you can,
okay, so let's be clear.
Okay, give me a little more.
Ozymandias, in the role of superhero, he has no superpowers. He is a regular man of, of regular human intellect. Dr. Manhattan isn't.
I like that though. We're gonna jot that one down because I need to. If I'm gonna be the superhero in this arc, we need the villain. And that's why I tasked a bunch of friends with doing it. They all came up with different things. I said that he's like Kingpin, but with like zero composure and not cool at all. Because he doesn't have the personality of Kingpin. Another guy said he's like Harry Osborn because he's the spoiled son of Norman trying to follow in his dad AVGN's footsteps.
That's actually a pretty good one. But that would make you Spider-Man.
Yeah, he's like, I don't love that, but it's okay. But he's also not as memorable as father, the good Green Goblin.
That's true.
And then somebody else just said, super dumb Lex Luthor, and then and it went on like that for a while. We had a good time at his expense. Somebody said that he's the three bouncing heads from Spirited Away, which may be a much more like obscure reference for people who don't watch even Americanized anime. But we went on like this for hours, and I had such a great. And I needed to set myself a reminder because I knew that you, Billy, would have somebody, so I was excited to bring that here today and make sure you got that. So.
Oh, because you knew I would have something that I'd be on it in the instant.
Everybody likes different, comics, so everybody's got somebody in mind, and that's why it was so exciting for me. I'm like, oh man, we can make such a weird amalgamation of supervillains to turn them into, and that's kind of where we're going right now. So.
Yeah.
Let's see. What else do we got?
The Unrelenting.
What else? Do you have any other news? I've got other news too. Am I what?
Are you familiar with Bolfunga the Unrelenting?
No, that sounds like another like one of the challengers to grab the Infinity Stones kind of thing.
No. He was a character in Green Lantern, and he was an intergalactic bounty hunter. Yeah, he was an intergalactic bounty hunter. And he was just this big dumb brute that fucking just raged. He wouldn't give up no matter what. He always got the win, but then somebody sent him after Mogo. And after spending months and months on a planet looking for Mogo, he finally figured out that Mogo wasn't on the planet. Mogo was the planet. Mogo is a sentient planet. And so then he freaked out and left. That's the only time he's ever relented. But he's
still unrelenting.
He was just, he's still Bolfunga the Unrelenting. Always.
I like it. Here's another news story I had for you. This is another one specifically for you that I've been saving. We're like 2 weeks behind on this one now. But Star Trek Prodigy. Are you at all familiar or interested in Prodigy?
With Prodigy, like the band?
No,
like
Star Trek.
My bitch up?
Star Trek Prodigy.
Oh, I didn't hear you say Star Trek. I'm familiar. I haven't actually watched any of it yet.
So they're doing a Star Trek animated, I don't want to say kids show, but I guess it's for a younger audience. Anyway, there was a huge push for it by Paramount Plus, and then they just canceled it and scrapped it and used it as a tax write-off. And it kind of came out of nowhere because it was produced in-house by CBS. So the whole thing was really weird. The way that it was just scrapped because Star Trek is, it's a key component of streaming services. A lot of streaming services have Star Trek stuff on it.
Just so you know, Mike, and this is gonna sound really weird, not a joke. The absolute only reason I pay for Paramount is so I can stream Star Trek. I watch Deep Space Nine, I watch Next Generation, I watch original series, and I watch Voyager. I watch the movies. I mean, yep.
I have Peacock, which I have it on a huge discount. I get it for like 99 cents a month. Then I got some crazy deal one time, and now
Seems steep.
It's recurring now. But I have all of The Office plus all of The Office supercuts and all of the extra stuff, and it's all on there to stream. So it's like a convenience thing. So I know exactly where you
Right.
are. Like it could all be downloaded. I could own it all or whatever.
Right.
But I just do it out of convenience. Anyway, so after that, news broke that Prodigy was going to start a GoFundMe and try to fund themselves into it. Well, instead, after all this rigmarole, Netflix just picked it up, just essentially plucked it off of Paramount, and now Netflix has signed them on for 2 seasons. So brand new Star Trek content on Netflix instead of Paramount Plus because Paramount tried to cancel it as a tax write-off. So now Netflix has exclusive Star Trek content that Paramount does not have.
Wow, that's it's pretty interesting.
Well, I thought
I'm with it.
I didn't know if it was something that like I don't know if your kids
but is it all right? So is this you said it was an animated series?
Yep, animated Star Trek stuff.
Huh. Have you seen Lower Decks?
Nope.
Okay, it's an animated Star Trek series. You should watch it. It's hilarious. It's just because it's animated, not animated. Animated doesn't mean it's for kids, by the way. It's like a PG-13 type deal. Like kind of Futurama level of humor. Where it's semi on the line.
Yeah, I like those kind of
like
Simpsons and that kind of stuff. That appeals to me.
Like you would let your 15-year-old watch this with no problem, but maybe not your 7-year-old. It just depends. But it's Star Trek Lower Decks is fucking hilarious, man. I love it.
Is it meant to be a comedy? Because this is another question that comes up constantly now with new shows. Is it's funny? Yes.
No.
It's supposed to be funny.
Yes, it's supposed to be funny. So basically, what it has to do with is when you watch Star Trek, how does every episode of Star Trek start?
The captain's log?
There you go. Exactly. That's exactly the point. Because what you are seeing on every single Star Trek show is the captain's log. This is things that happen to the captain and the people on the bridge and notable events of the ship. So what you don't see is the doldrum, everyday, boring shit. Mm-hmm. And you only see the captain and people relating to the captain because it's the captain's log. So what you don't see are the people on deck 45C, all the way down in the bowels of the ship.
Yeah.
You don't know what goes on with their lives. And that's what Lower Decks is a group of these people that work on the lower decks that you would never see on a TV show because they wouldn't interact in that way. They're not going to be the focal point of an away team mission, even though they have been the focal points of away team missions on the lower decks.
And you like it? It's a good show? Like you're going to tell me to go watch it?
I definitely recommend it. It's pretty good. It's pretty funny.
Okay. All right. I'll add it.
I mean, it's one of those shows that you could enjoy even if you don't like Star Trek.
Okay. I just recently got my kids into Domo, like the fuzzy
I
brown
know who
rectangle guy.
Domo is.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I can keep piling on new stuff and just see what sticks. That's kind of my new plan because I wanted to get them away from YouTube and stuff. So
Why were you kids watching my videos and I use
no,
the F word too much?
no, that's not it.
You gotta.
We talked about Sniper Wolf the other day, and I told you I was trying to get them away from Sniper Wolf, and that's what because I don't like their
Yeah.
content. So one
Well,
more.
it's not her content.
Well, yes, her content over the top of content. Um,
Right.
one more fun story before we get pulled off the stage for tonight. Um, Microsoft employees. So did you see this thing? Phil Spencer just found out that there's like 250,000 Microsoft employees that have free Ultimate Game Pass subscriptions and have for years now. And he's getting rid of the free Ultimate Game Pass for Microsoft employees thing instead of allowing them to purchase the subscriptions at a discount as opposed to giving all 250,000 of Microsoft's employees free Ultimate Game Pass. Which so it sounds like wow, that's a jerk move. But what percentage of Microsoft employees do you think go home and then immediately play Microsoft like online at night? I'm gonna guess it's less than half.
Yeah, I'm gonna say so too, man. Even when I spent 30 years as a carpenter, the odds of me getting home and
And
working on
building
my
something.
house,
Yeah.
right, were fairly fucking slim.
Yeah. So I think that it's probably a smart cut, but it's a funny cut because you wouldn't say that publicly, and that's what they did. You know, they're like, hey,
Right.
we just found out we had all these people getting Game Pass for free. They're gonna pay for it like the rest of you now. So, don't worry about it. And maybe this will
Well,
unclog
man,
servers, right?
yeah, right.
You can play
So
Payday 3
also,
now.
this is not a terrible decision because would you say they have 250,000 employees?
That were just 238,000 that were on there. That
All right.
were on.
So
Yeah.
what's Game Pass a month? Like $10 a month or something?
If you buy it in bulk, I think it ends up being like $2 a month. Like you can buy it in
Okay,
like a year or two and then get it real cheap.
fair enough. You want a quick cash infusion? You take 250,000 people off a free Game Pass and sell it to them for $1 a month.
Yeah.
That's $12, right? $12 times $250,000. What's that going to be? Like $4 million or something?
Sure, and that's if they all buy it.
Right. But still, you see what I'm saying? Like, it's
Yeah.
not really going to infect that employee to buy Game Pass for $1 a month, but it's going to put a couple $1 million into the company immediately.
Correct. And then maybe he doubles back. Maybe down the road they're like, we'll just let you have it for free again. Whatever. Sorry.
No, they won't. Remember when Microsoft employees used to get Xbox games and they had the little sticker
Yeah,
on the front
I still
with their
have some of those.
employee number on it?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Those days are fucking gone.
Well,
So
that's because they
I
don't
don't
do
think they're
physical
ever.
media, and they don't have that. They don't have a
Come on,
store. There
man.
used to be an employee store too, and that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, right. They're gonna bring that back too, Mike. They're gonna
Yeah.
start giving games to their
Right after you pay
employees
$1 a
physically
month.
again.
Yeah, sure.
Right. They realize that. Ooh, we can make money on this. What if, and hear me out, our employees bought their own fucking games?
All right. Oh, what a mishmash
That's
an
gonna be
episode
my
this was.
next
Yeah.
business move. Hear me out. What if all you motherfuckers bought something?
Yeah. Listen to this idea, DKoldies. What if we force you to buy a? We get to pick the item. Each of your employees has to purchase one.
Right.
Oh, all right. So that's probably it for tonight. Billy, did you learn anything on this super Christmas Eve? No, I have my Christmas tree up now, and Billy doesn't like that I'm up this early. So We got 50
No,
days.
you
It's
don't even
Christmas
have.
already.
It's not.
So, Grinch,
It's
did you
not
learn anything
even
tonight?
Thanksgiving yet. Did I? Yeah, I did. I actually learned that you're involved with a buddy who does a toy, charity drive for children, and I really, really like that. So,
Mine is also
uh,
about children.
and, okay, let's hear it.
I learned that Billy thinks that the plot of the new Five Nights at Freddy's movie that's on Netflix is Drew from DKoldies running around with an animatronic Joey telling him what to say and do
Yeah,
and steal children's money and souls.
that's fairly accurate, dude. Also, Drew is shaped like Fetty Fastbender. I've seen pictures of the dude.
The memes just write themselves, buddy.
Oh,
This is
they
free-form
really
meming
do.
right here on the fly during the episodes.
Oh, that reminds me. When we get done here, I have some memes for you to make for your Twitter.
Oh, I do accept
You're gonna.
submissions, but they have to pass my rigorous standards, you know.
Oh, this is rigorous. You'll like it. You'll like
All
it.
right.
All right.
All
So
right.
let's get out of here. Go visit Billtendo.com. Use the code Quest64 to get 10% off. Pick you up a Billtendo X Retro Lizard machine. It is amazing. It is over 10,000 games. Play you some Sega Saturn, some Nintendo 64, or even Sega CD if you're highly depressed. And
I like Sega CD, but to make myself feel better about liking Sega CD, I'm gonna go lay underneath my Christmas tree and eat some canned cranberry sauce.
all right, Mike, I'll talk to you later.
Have a good night.